Well, it's a massive clash here as we reach the pointy end of the season as Brisbane Roar travel to Rooty Hill in Sydney's west as they take on the Western Sydney Wanderers at Wanderers Football Park. A crowd building on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon, pushed back due to the heat, and it's a happy hunting ground for Brisbane as they've never lost against the Wanderers here in New South Wales, only conceding 2 goals in that time in the fixture dating back to 2014. Fans strolling through. Young Matildas coach Leah Blaney is in the crowd today as we have a look at how the sides line up for today, starting with Kat Smith's side. 3 young Matildas, I should say, returning to the fold for Kat Smith. Gemma Ferris, Alexia Pastelakos in the front, in the starting 11, I should say, and Sienna Saveska on the bench for today. Wearing the captain's armband is Matilda Claire Hunt, made her debut just a few short weeks ago in the Cup of Nations. Kiwi Malia Steinmetz, Matilda Amy Harrison, and a front pairing of the Filipino Serena Bolden and Sophia Harding. As for the Roar, American Hensley Handcuff is back in goals after being on international team duty with the US under-23s. A few outs for the Brisbane Roar throughout the week. Katrina Gorry heading back to Sweden, giving opportunities for the likes of Zara Kruger, Kaya Stevenson and Holly Palmer, who has had a great season. Ishinori is also out for today's squad as an accumulation of yellow cards not only sees her unavailable for today, but also saw the Brisbane Roar drop 3 points after winning against Western United last week. The Western Sydney bench making their way across the pitch. Plenty of young talents on the bench there. Ella Abdul-Masih at the back there. Made her debut last season as a 15-year-old under the person next to me who was the coach last year, Kath Canuli. Plenty of young talent on both sides ready to stake their claim today. And Logan Lightning as well. There is Kat Smith, former Alamine coach in her first year at the helm of Western Sydney. Pleased with how her side's coped so far. Plenty of room to grow, however. And there is Gareth McPherson, the Brisbane Roar head coach in his second year in charge. Fairly up and down season. We are underway here in the Liberty A-League. Campbell Johnson and Kath Canuli here in commentary on 10 play. And Paramount Plus, Jamila Rankin wearing the captain's armband for the Brisbane Roar. A big opportunity for the 19-year-old Kath.
It is, isn't it? And it's really good to see that she's showing great leadership skills at training and being able to be presented with that captain's armband. It must really show that she's growing on and off the pitch for Gareth to give her that responsibility, you know, coming off, you know, someone like Minnie that holds that position in a high regard.
A young central pairing for the Brisbane Roar today. Jamila Rankin and the player on the ball now, Holly McQueen. Holly was signed a few years back, I believe the week of their finals game against Melbourne Victory, where they lost heavy-handedly in that one. But had spent some time out with an ACL injury while she was playing for Lions FC. It's actually in the Queensland Kappa Women's Super Cup final. The coach for Western Pride against Lions FC that day, her mum on the day that she did it. So I was there on that day, and she's been sidelined for some time, but back out there now for the Brisbane Roar. As you have another look here, Beth Gordon, well, we mentioned it before the game, player who's drawn the most fouls, and she makes it 30 for the season. But as my point before, we'll get to that after this free kick. Just about her best position, Alexia Pastelakos.
I think the great thing for her is that she's, you know, versatile. She can play in that centre-back position. She can also play in the right-back position as well, which is always really good for coaches to be able to have that in your team.
Saw Serena Bolden there, the Philippines attacker, and the ball in now, flicked on by Sophie Harding. Unable to hit the target, however. The ball back in now as the replay shows. Hensley handcuff caught out there. Can Sophie Harding chase it down? The angle just too close. And almost a massive blunder there by Hensley handcuff.
I think she had a bit of a brain snap there. I'm not sure what had happened. And, you know, she was sort of in a good position, but she just didn't have her feet. She didn't actually read the play quite well there and didn't get to clear it well enough.
Gordon driving forward now. This is good from Gordon. Cuts it back to the 6-yard box, but just can't find a teammate. It's cut out by the Roar. Claire Hunt lofting it in for Bolden. Coming out as handcuff and collecting the player in the same breath. Straight down is Serena Bolden. Brave in the flight with both the players. And a heavy collision in the box, but a good ball initially by Claire Hunt. Medics called on straight away as we have another look back at this one. Kath Canuli.
It was a dangerous ball by Claire Hunt. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was getting it back in there, putting it into a dangerous area. And as we've seen all year long with Serena Bolden, she's so, you know, prolific in that 18-yard box. She puts her body on the line for anything, and that's what she's done in that instance as well.
Well by Gordon.
Don't get drawn towards the ball shape. Even sit behind.
Gareth McPherson's instructions coming through loud and clear on the effects mic. Doesn't want Shay Connors to get drawn in too much by the sounds of things. Kath Canuli.
He would be really looking at, you know, ways that he can really exploit the Western Sydney Wanderers, and probably knowing that this heat as well in Western Sydney today, and not wanting to exert too much, and really waiting for her moment to be able to pick those moments and be able to go together, you know, and try to be able to execute at the right time.
As someone who's spent a fair bit of time in both states, it's fairly comparable, and I'm sure both sides will be very happy with the time change in this one.
100%, and you know, spending a season in Brisbane, I can tell you the heat is something that probably is not worrying them today, and especially the humidity. At the Brisbane Roar, my season up there, it was a big shock coming from Sydney as well. So yeah, the girls would be really happy to know that the game has been changed, and you know, looking out for everyone on all parts.
Crummer striking, almost hits the number 6 behind the goal. Hit it sweetly, but unable to hit the target.
I think the crazy thing for me there is that how much time she actually had there to actually strike that ball and set herself up and hit it, and she has to hit the target there.
Jen Karmas, former Sydney FC, Canberra United and Melbourne Victory player, as well as Connors striking with some ferocity, but straight down the throat of Karmas on that occasion.
Again here, great little ball in, and good little around the corner, and too much time to give him time to be able to shoot. Got to close him down really quickly there.
Rashard has been so good today. Always there for the Brisbane Roar when they need her.
She's just a solid player. She just does her job well. She doesn't overcomplicate things. She's just a simple player and just does her job well. Whether she's playing in centre back or as a fullback role for her team, it's, you know, just simple, and she does that quite well. And she's a great leader on the pitch as well. To have someone in that older category that's been around, you know, the last few years, and you know, has a level head on her, it's great for the Brisbane Roar team.
And it's not only football experience for Jessie Rashard, but also life experience as well. Would be fair to say the oldest player in the team, 35 years of age, but brings so much on and off the pitch.
I think when you get older and you're on the pitch, and I think every game is a blessing, right? And you know, you start to, you know, take every game as like, you know, this is great that I can actually go out there and play 90 minutes week in, week out.
There's Harding across the face, turned in by Beth Gordon. Easy as you like, and Western Sydney Wanderers open the scoring at Wonderland. Their third shot on target, and they capitalise.
Textbook finish, you know, you see that on the training pitch, you know, coming down the byline and crossing it in, and a great first time finish by Beth Gordon, and you know, perfect cross as well, which is fantastic. And it's a bit hard done by for Brisbane Roar. I think they've had more of the chances this game, and Wanderers get up there for their first time and put it in the back of the net.
Her first Liberty A-League goal, and what a moment to do it. You can see the delight on her face. Price. Going to go around India Page Riley. Matos tees herself up. Headed away by Rasha. Steinmetz. Apostolakis, looping ball into the box and headed away by, yep, you guessed it, Jess Rasha. Once again, having a sensational game for the Brisbane Roar. Gareth McPherson looking back at it, I'm sure. Looking at how they can adjust, and it was one of those ones, the goal where it just popped up, right place, right time. Beth Gordon, they get a corner now. Amy Harrison delivering towards the near post. It's a good ball. Claire Hunt rises above the pack and heads it home for her first Liberty A-League goal. The Matilda, at long last.
Wow, what a finish by Claire Hunt. Great delivery there as well by Amy Harrison. And God, I'm going to have to hear about this all week long. I'm sure I'm going to get plenty of texts about this goal. And I can tell you on the training pitch, she practices these over and over again to try and have this moment.
What a moment for Claire Hunt. Someone who's been through the trials and tribulations, injuries, plenty for Claire Hunt. And how good to see her finally get her moment in the sun. As Matos. Can the Wanderers go again? 2 shots on target, 2 goals. Laid off this time. Crummer back in the thick of it. I'm surprised neither player had to come off the pitch to get a check of any sort.
I think she didn't get her quite right in the head. I think it was more in the mouth and in the chin. So, and as we all know, Larissa Crummer and Claire Hunt, 2 solid players.
As Harding striking, and it is fumbled, but eventually collected by Hensley Handcuff. And I think you're right, Kath Canuli is 3 minutes added on here at Wanderers Football Park. Not a completely square collision, and this was nice from Sophie Harding to make some room for herself and get a shot off. Palmer driving forward, beats 2. Out wide for India Page Riley. Blocked by Matos and Steinmetz. Happy to see it away. And now in the box once more, almost from Shay Connors out of nowhere. Almost beat Shem Karmas at the near post.
Shay Connors just puts herself in positions where she can always just, manoeuvre herself to be able to get something in on goal, and she does really, really well with her runs, and that's one of the reasons why she has so many opportunities.
Connors now an opportunity for the Roar to strike back. Connors has Stevenson, has to go out wide for her. Connors still saved by Karmas and cleared for the Wanderers.
Connors has done really, really well there. She's absolutely driving at that central defender, and she's doing really, really well. She could have played in that player on the left-hand side, but she's, opted to go herself, which is fine. She's got a great shot on target, but, she's done really well in the way she's done that, and, unfortunately, could have done better with putting it in the back of the net, but well done for her. 2
goals last week. Who could blame her for trying to be a little bit greedy on that occasion? Well, Brisbane Roar have never lost against the Wanderers in New South Wales, and as it stands at half-time, Western Sydney could be on their way to their first win over the Roar at home, as at half-time it is Western Sydney 2, Brisbane Roar 0.
Western Sydney Wanderers had those couple of chances and, put them in the back of the net, and that's why they're 2-0 up.
Well, the second stanza has arrived here in the west of Sydney. It is currently Western Sydney Wanderers 2, Brisbane Roar 0 here in the Liberty A-League. Campbell Johnson and Kath Canuli in commentary for today. A Brisbane Roar side without key players like Katrina Gorry, Kaiser Lind as well, Ish Norrie to boot. And Western Sydney Wanderers with reinforcements. Players back from the young Matildas, a burgeoning young side that have laid the foundations for a promising campaign next year. And Western Sydney Wanderers as well. Kath Cannuli with the opportunity today to leapfrog the Brisbane Roar with a win.
I'm sure they'd be talking about this all week. You know, you want to be finishing as high up on the ladder as you possibly can. And, you know, they would be disappointed that their season took off, you know, quite late and they got those couple of good wins. And, you know, unfortunately for them, it wasn't meant to be this season to get into the top 4. But hopefully Kat Smith can really, you know, keep the majority of this team together and really build on this, because she has some really fantastic young talent in that squad. And, you know, there's some great young talent on the bench as well. You've got Ella Abdul-Masih and you've got Sienna Silvestre, you know, 2 players, and Amy Chisari as well. You know, 3 great young talents that have got big futures ahead of them in this Liberty A-League.
Super competitive, and what you tend to see as well is sometimes that some players that are at the likes of Sydney FC and squads like that who aren't getting as much game time can then go over to the red and black side of the town. Harding striking from range. What a strike it was, but just couldn't dip down or find the corner for Sophie Harding, the English-born forward. Had time to shoot there, given free range, but just couldn't find the target on that occasion. Shay Connors picking the pocket of Gemma Ferris there, and we know how much pace Shay Connors has to burn. Connors striking, Larissa Crummer, easy as you like. Got a touch on the way through, and a muted celebration by the Brisbane Roar and Larissa Crummer as she gets her 4th of the campaign. And the climb may be back for the Brisbane Roar.
A really quiet celebration there by Larissa Crummer, you know, but some poor defending there from Western Sydney Wanderers.
One question for you, Kath. Shot or cross?
I think it was a cross.
I think it was a shot. I'm sure Shay Connors will be saying it is a cross. This is nice play from the Wanderers.
Great little passage of play there by the Wanderers.
And now, Steinmetz. Wanderers slick at the moment. Falls for Harding, striking. And Hensley handcuffed, equal to it. Not troubled too much in the end. And Brisbane Roar looking to play in a more direct fashion. Shay Connors conceding the foul.
It's great little play here by Western Sydney Wanderers. Nice little one-touch passes, but it gets to the point there where Sophie Harding does she really need to hit this first time. She's got so much, you know, time and space there that she can actually maybe even take that player on 1v1. She's got so much speed, and if you are going to hit that ball first time, you've really got to get your body over it and really strike it.
And we talk about player opportunities with extra teams, but it's not only players, it's administrators, it's coaches, it's physios, medical staff, everything in between. More jobs all round, all positives, and especially with a club like Central Coast who were in the league in the past. It'll be great to have them back.
It's going to be fantastic to have Central Coast back in the competition. You know they've got such a great core of youngsters coming through in the NPL, and they've produced so many great young Central Coast, you know, youngsters that are coming through, you know, the league as well. And it's great to see that region be able to have its own team and have that supporter base.
And a great opportunity here, Kath, as well, it must be said. A great ball in, and Claire Hunt with a risky header.
Perfect ball in, you know, it's a dangerous area there, and, you know, Shay Connors has got to come across that defender, and, you know, it is a bit risky there from Claire, but I'm sure she would have been knowing that she's in a position there that she could just clear it away in that time.
Claire Hunt all on her lonesome underneath it. And the strike from Riley. Can't be steered, goal bound. And it will be a substitution. Once more this time for Western Sydney. And it might be a couple. And it will be a drinks break. Perhaps. I'm not entirely sure where the substitutions are coming from. Which side They are. It looks like Malia Steinmetz will be making way. And perhaps Amy Chisari coming on. As we have another look back at the goals that were from the first half, and Brisbane Roar getting back into the game, Kat.
It's fantastic to see Brisbane Roar getting back in the game, but they do look quite flat in this second half. And you could see back then, prior to that corner, you know, Claire Hunt's getting an easy header just to clear away. And you can see here with the goal, Shay Connors again, lightning down that right-hand side, and a nice easy tap in for Larissa Crummer.
Was just able to pick Gemma Ferris's pocket there. All too casual from the young centre half, and if you give Shay Connors an opportunity, it won't take her much to take advantage of it. Foster-Larkis almost able to read it, but Sian Fryer just cutting it out there, but doesn't get quite enough of it. Sian Fryer having a few words for the officials as well.
You've got to give it to Sian Fryer. I thought she's had a fantastic game today. She's worked super hard. There's been times, you know, she's been getting up and down that left-hand side, and, you know, she's been left with little to no options in that front third to, you know, be able to combine or be able to play someone in behind. You can see she gets the ball and she's looking for someone to make a run in behind, and there's not much option for her.
And the delivery could be perfect. Bolden. We've seen the score before. Claire Hunt up forward now as well, retreating. However, Chisari towards the penalty spot, and Beth Gordon, unbelievable. Well, she got her first Liberty A-League goal earlier today, and well, it's double trouble for the Wanderers midfielder, who goes over and celebrates with the bench and the physio by the looks of things.
Looks like the physio is her favourite person on the bench today, but what a fantastic finish from Beth Gordon. Again, you know, she's in the right place at the right time, and just the willingness to want to put that ball in the back of the net is fantastic.
Well, we've been talking about how good of a season she's had, and, well, today just puts the cherry on top. 2 goals. Opened her account in the Liberty A-League and doubled it in the same match, and a great volley there. Alert to it. And no hug for Kat Smith. No hug for any of the substitutes. The physio. The ball in now, saved by Karmas. Low and brilliant. Almost a goal for the Brisbane Roar, and it goes out for a goal kick. Atos trying to keep it in play, and that will be full time at Wanderers Football Park. Western Sydney with their first ever win over the Brisbane Roar at home, and what a win it was. Debut, or I should say maiden goals for not only Claire Hunt, but Beth Gordon with a brace on the day. A brilliant win for the Western Sydney Wanderers as they leap from Gareth McPherson's Brisbane Roar and lay the foundations for what could be a historic 2023-24 season. It ends at Wanderers Football Park. Western Sydney Wanderers 3, Brisbane Roar 1.